Welcome to the Everyday Comfort Podcast, where we help homeowners make smart decisions and save money, and guide contractors on building trust, growing their business, and delivering real value. Let's dive into the show.
Hi, I'm Anthony Mound, and this is Everyday Comfort, real-world guidance for homeowners and home service professionals to help you make smarter decisions, avoid expensive problems, and stay comfortable year-round. Today's episode is sponsored by Trust One, your local plumbing and HVAC team in Quincy, Massachusetts. Our mission is simple. We help people win. The company wins, the employee wins, and the customer wins. This means clear communication, quality work, and a customer experience built on trust from start to finish. Learn more at trustoneservices.com. And today I'm joined by Chad Franzen of Rise 25. Chad has interviewed thousands of successful entrepreneurs and CEOs. And today he's interviewing me. Chad, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks so much, Anthony. Great to talk to you again. How's winter treating you?
Cold. We've gotten tons of snow this year, so it's been a little bit of a hassle. So.
Okay, well, I'm in Colorado,
what about you?
And it's been like 65 here for 2 weeks, so maybe that's coming your way. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, it's been like 40s, which is quite kind of warm for us. So
good. Well, I don't know about you, but I always look forward to winter ending and spring beginning. So I was hoping to talk to you a little bit about kind of maintenance and what homeowners should do as we transition out of winter. And I'm sharing a checklist, a seasonal checklist, and we also have a monthly checklist that we'll kind of refer to as I ask you a few questions about that. So what are the first things, do you think, during the spring, as you can see on the chart there, that homeowners should do in preparation?
yeah, definitely one thing is check, like it's not really on here, but like check your sub pump. You know, you want to make sure that's running because in the springtime we get tons of rain. You know, and sometimes but obviously they get groundwater. They wouldn't have a sub pump usually. So check that, make sure it works, plug it in, put some water in it, run a hose to it. Um, yeah, another one is window screens. A lot of homeowners and like people like myself like to leave windows open in the springtime to let the fresh air in, and you don't want tons of bugs and animals. You know, they're hibernating, they're coming out because they're away all winter, so you don't want them getting into your home. And then definitely checking gutters. You know, gutters is very important. You know, you want to clean out your gutters because, you know, wind and snow and everything drags stuff on your roof. And then you had snow sitting on top of it, and all those things can collect inside your gutters. And if your gutters clog up, then if it rains outside, it doesn't allow the water to flow, it can build up on the inside of your house or underneath your roof line.
So basically that means climbing up on a ladder and taking a look, or else having somebody else do it.
Yeah, or having someone else do it. Yeah.
Let's take a look at this monthly checklist. So we'll kind of head into March and April. These checklists often include cleaning gutters. Why is that an important seasonal task? And what problems start if they remain clogged?
Yeah, so we get tons of rain in the spring is really, really why. So you need your gutters to kind of get that rain away from your house. So if those clog up, you can cause like leaks in your roof or over time or water to get into your house in one way or another. So that's why it's important. You don't want that moisture to get into your house. You don't want mold. You don't want any leaks coming into your home.
Why is early spring kind of the right time to inspect the roof for damage or needed repairs?
Because you've had tons of, snow. Like for us, we've had over 2 feet of snow in Massachusetts. So all that weight and all the expansion and contraction of, the cold, you have hot air inside and then you have cold air outside and your house is kind of expanding and contracting. And then you have tons of moisture and snow and roof dams. Like I had a story from someone that I was talking to. They had like ice buildup and their vent on the roof wasn't big enough. So that like they had water leaking through their kitchen for like days, and so they had to like rip their whole kitchen out just because they didn't clear like ice dams. So, yeah.
Is there maybe like if you check the roof, is there something that homeowners should look for?
Yeah, I'd say like you can tell you can look at one part of your roof, and if it's not like straight, and so if they start to buckle, like your shingles start to buckle, or you see pieces of your roof that are starting to fall off, or you can see like under your roof, like you can start seeing the plywood. Those are signs. But I'm no roofing expert, but I'm in the trades, so I have friends that are roofers, and those are some things that they look for.
What about like caulking around windows and doors? Why is spring the ideal time to check and repair that?
Again, bugs, you don't want bugs to get into your home. You want those screens to be effective, and if you have a screen and then you have just a way to get into your house, you don't want bugs and dust. And also, I think of like, the people have allergies. You have like dander or not dander, like pollen and things like that from
Hmm.
all the flowers and stuff like that. So you don't want all that
Does
getting into your home.
sure does caulking greatly affect energy efficiency?
Yeah. So obviously, if your window is open, it's not going to really help anything. But
Hmm.
yeah, if you're losing air in your house, or if there's anywhere air can get out, it allows that you're going to lose energy because your system's just going to keep running. Especially if you turn on your air conditioner, you're going to lose all that air outside.
Spring maintenance also includes checking foundations for drainage issues. What warning signs maybe should homeowners be on the lookout for?
Moisture, you can see like wet spots or damp spots in your basement. Or if you have a finished basement, you'll definitely see, moisture, or you'll smell like dampness. So those are things to kind of look for.
Why should homeowners inspect crawl spaces or basements for moisture issues, especially in early spring?
Yeah, so it rains a lot, like I mentioned before. So if you're gonna have a leak, it's gonna be when those heavy rains, rain really finds its way to get into your basement or your crawl space. So if you have a foundation issue when it rains, you're just gonna have water leaking into your basement. So obviously, there's companies that can take care of that for you, but it's also just good to know what's going on with your home. I actually had a foundation issue where I had to replace the whole side of my foundation on my house,
Hmm.
and it's very expensive. So if you can
Yeah,
prevent
I
that
bet.
from happening, I would definitely suggest it. Yeah, I was totally unexpected. I was redoing like part of my driveway, and so I removed, tons of grass and stuff and a foundation wall that was just like a barrier wall, not
Mm.
foundation wall. And removing it from my house, and my whole foundation started collapsing because it was in poor condition.
Oh
So,
wow. Yeah, I could see how that could be pricey.
hmm
Um, Spring is a common time to clean and service decks. What damage does winter typically cause to outdoor living spaces?
Weight, rot, deterioration. Yeah, I mean, it's tons of moisture and everything, so that rots out wood or vinyl. I mean, vinyl doesn't rot as much as wood does, but over time it definitely weakens it with the weight. So, just cleaning off decks, making sure they're clear.
So if you see some issues with your deck and you think, well, it's fine now, are there problems that could arise from delaying that maintenance, or is it just make it more of an emergency next time?
I mean, I wouldn't consider any of it an emergency unless it's like high off the ground. Like if you have a
Mhm.
deck and it's on the ground, like what's the worst thing you do? You step through it, like
Yeah.
or a little kid maybe could get hurt on it, but if it's high up, then definitely should like look at signs of like rot or deterioration because it can definitely be hazardous.
Why is pruning bushes and trees around the home important heading into spring?
Again, bugs, you're getting more bugs inside the house. Especially around your air conditioner. You don't want like those tree limbs or anything, getting into your air conditioning unit, and then bugs getting into your house. Um, yeah, those are the main reasons I can think of. I'm sure there's some other reasons too.
Um, I know washing the exterior of the home is recommended. How does that protect the property beyond just making it look clean?
I think it's probably just aesthetics.
Yeah.
Maybe a pressure washing company would have more insight on that, but um, yeah, I'm sure there's maybe another reason.
Um, what about reinstalling window screens?
Yeah,
What should homeowners inspect before putting those back in? And tell me a little bit more about that.
like rotting or deterioration around your windows themselves.
Hmm.
Like if your window's like rotting away, that obviously there's moisture getting in somehow. So those are things to look at. Cracks, deterioration.
Okay. Um, why is springtime a smart time to drain sediment from the hot water heater tank?
Yeah, so in the wintertime, we're using plumbing systems way more. You're taking hot showers, definitely hotter showers than you normally would in the summer.
Hmm.
At least I do.
Mhm.
and the people I know do. So, there's tons of like, expansion and contraction in your pipes. So you're kind of loosening up sediment or dirt or anything like that inside your pipes. So it's good to flush it out. And so obviously in the wintertime, you don't want to create ice. So if you're flushing out your water heater outside, then you don't want to create ice. But in the springtime, you don't have that issue.
Does something happen if sediment builds up within the hot water heater?
Yeah, so typical water heater, like a tank top water heater, lasts anywhere from 6 to 10 years. Tankless, you're looking at 10 to 15. And so if water sits in the bottom of a tank, it starts to rot. Like the whole tank starts to rot out. And so once that tank rots out, before that tank rots out, there's a magnesium rod that's inside that tank. And so that rod starts getting eaten away. So once that rod is completely gone, then it starts eating away at the tank. And if it starts eating at the tank, then your tank starts leaking over time. So what happens with the sediment too is you actually don't get as much hot water because it's just taking up the capacity of that water
Hmm.
as
Is
well.
it, would you say it's important to inspect appliance hoses heading into spring?
Yeah, tons of expansion and contraction from wintertime, from your heat, temperature swings all the time. So those hoses definitely can take a beating. From being like dry in the home or having extreme moisture, it really depends. But constant expansion and contraction is not always the best for hoses. So it's definitely worth it to take a look because those are the unexpected leaks that you can get that you were definitely not expecting.
Is there an appliance whose hose is often the biggest culprit, or is it just good to check on all of them?
Yeah, those rubber hoses like on a washing machine,
Mm-hmm.
you definitely don't even want those in the first place. But if you start seeing cracking or deterioration, you definitely want to get them replaced. You want to use the no burst hoses. So those can prevent a lot of those issues.
What about checking sump pumps? Why is spring melt season the critical time for that?
Yep. The rain, my favorite thing. Not, I hate rain. But rain's a big factor. You want to definitely make sure your sub pump is working before it starts raining outside because we've seen, believe it or not, customers have at least a foot of water in their basement because their sub pump. Like they go away for a weekend, they come home, they didn't test their sub pump, and then you have tons of water in your basement or your sub pump fails. You know, it's very important to get that done.
Why should homeowners service or inspect HVAC systems before temperatures start to really start, getting warmer?
Yeah, it's definitely better to turn on your cooling system, especially if you have a furnace and AC. Your furnace has been running all year round, but you don't know if your AC is going to kick on. So you want to make sure that your AC actually turns on because there's other components that are involved in that. They've taken a beating with snow, and other environmental factors.
Hmm.
So it's definitely important to make sure you turn it on, make sure it works, even if it's only for a few minutes. Make sure it turns on because the worst, and then critters also get inside of these air conditioning units because you have electricity. That electricity keeps warmth, whether you're gonna use it or whether you're using it or not. It's kind of warm in there. It's like a safe spot for them. So they find their way to get in, and so it's good to turn them on. Make sure that they run before
Is
you
there a
have to
benefit
call.
beyond just ensuring that they run? Like, does it help to turn it on maybe prematurely or when it's not overly warm? Is it good for the system beyond just kind of for your own peace of mind?
It's more or less just a peace of mind, and then
Okay.
also making sure that like calling someone in the middle of July is going to be harder to get an air conditioning provider in July than it is to, hey, knowing I have an issue in March or April, and then when it becomes 70 degrees out, you can then call someone to make sure
Hmm.
it's good for the summer. Because that's when you want to really test air conditioners is around 70 degrees. That's how we can properly do an inspection on it.
Hmm.
So that's important. To at least get it turned on. Like it doesn't have to work or like you just have to make sure the outdoor unit turns on and it's
Sure.
it's doing something.
Spring maintenance also includes checking outdoor faucets and plumbing. What is there freeze damage that can show up late?
Yes. Yeah. What happens traditionally is um people will turn off their water for the winter to anything outdoors, whether it's an outdoor shower or an outdoor faucet. And then in the springtime, they'll turn it off. And sometimes they don't know if there's a leak for a little bit because it's finished.
Hmm.
So If you have an unfinished space, you can obviously see if there's leaks or cracked pipes. If you have the water off and you didn't properly drain that, or you left your hose on the outdoor faucet, then those can burst. And then when you turn the water back on, you'll notice you have a leak. It's a pretty common call we get is like burst, you know, outdoor spigots or bursts like outdoor showers or pipes and stuff like that. It's very common.
So if you had a weekend here between now and the beginning of spring, as a homeowner, what would you say would be important to prioritize out of all the things we've talked about?
Definitely your gutters, like cleaning out your gutters is one. Checking your screens, making sure your screens get back in if you, unless you just don't open your windows. I guess that's, but outdoor faucets, making sure there's no leaks. That's very important. Making sure your sub pumps work. That's very important. And checking your HVAC unit to be clean around it, and that there's no dirt or anything or any damage from the snow. Those
From
would
your
be my top
experience, is there
issues.
maybe a home issue that's most common around this time of the year, transitioning into spring or as we get into spring?
Yeah, I would say a lot of homeowners, we do a lot of checkups coming in the spring for AC systems, and we prevent a lot of issues before it's summertime. And we let people know of anything, and sometimes they're really good. Sometimes they're in great condition, there's no issues, and then boom, they have the peace of mind, and then we have like a no breakdown guarantee. So if we go out to a homeowner's home and we test everything and we're like, hey, it's good, we'll refund you the visit if we have any issues, and then we'll come out and fix it for you. So that's
Okay.
really really good peace of mind, making sure that it's clear, making sure that everything works.
Yeah, you can't lose with that situation.
Nope.
Well, hey, Anthony, that's all I have for you about spring, but it's been great
Perfect.
to talk to you again. Thanks so much for having me.
Awesome. Thanks you, Chet.
So long, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Everyday Comfort Podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.